And we are back.
We are back, bumble bitches.
Today we're going to do a Q&A. We have a little bit of housekeeping that we need to do because we've changed a whole lot of things in our lives over the last couple weeks. And I know that we talked a little bit on Sunday about our new schedule, but I want to go over that again for people as well so that everyone's aware of what's happening. And then I want to get into some Q&A stuff and then small talk.
Okay.
Are you good for me to just go?
Yes.
Okay. First things first, our new schedule, which I'm going to reiterate this maybe 2 times throughout this episode. Moving forward, Monday, the premiere is going to 10 a.m. If you guys would like to have an email notification sent to you every Monday, you can do that by signing up through our website. And I will be doing a blog with a like small excerpt of what the email will be about, and then sending that out every Monday, probably 30 minutes to an hour before the episode goes live. At noon, did we say noon or 11? Noon.
For
noon
what?
on Mondays for the Patreon lives. It was noon, right?
Yes.
Okay, so at noon on Mondays, Eastern Standard Time, we will be going live on Patreon to record our podcast episodes. Tuesday, we'll be getting clips of the emails to YouTube. Wednesday will be our live stream at noon. Thursday, we'll get a clip from the email of Monday as well, because we'll be doing 2 emails per episode. And then Friday's our conversation pieces. We are no longer doing any content over the weekend. Friday is a day off for us. Saturday, Sunday is also a day off for us moving forward. Our coaching calls are being put on hold right now. We had the website go live last night. Already got a thing. We canceled it. It's not happening. Peaches has got a little bit of mental health shit that she needs to work through before we bring her on to coaching. And I got to be honest, I just don't really want to do it. So
Yeah.
until I have the want to work one-on-one with people, I'm not going to. And I think that even when I am ready to work one-on-one with people, it needs to be on a per person basis.
Yeah.
And not just because somebody wants to talk to me for an hour. Because an hour of my time to just sit there and bullshit, like I'm not going to charge somebody for that. And I don't want to just sit there and waste my time because somebody wants to talk to me and tell me how their day is going or to try to be my friend. I want to problem solve and help. And if we're not going to be able to constructively work through things, there's no point in me sitting down on a call. They can jump into a Twitch game with us and talk.
Right.
And I can do the exact same thing.
I have to cough.
Go ahead. Shout out to Mike Poppin, who did that yesterday while I don't even know if he's in the chat right now, but we jumped into a Twitch game with me yesterday, and I pulled up his YouTube channel and gave him some pointers, and we played video games for an hour. It was good, productive conversation. I felt good about that. I didn't feel like I was some sleazy fucking snake oil salesman trying to sell him an hour of my time to have a basic ass conversation that I would literally do with anyone in my life for free.
Right.
So I'm really on the fence with the coaching thing, and I know that you wanted to push that off a little bit, so that's good for us. That also gives us the ability on Tuesdays and Thursdays, if we don't want to work, to really have some downtime, which would be good for you. And obviously allows me to play video games.
Right.
Or we can go take pictures or go to the beach or, take the kids somewhere over spring breaks and vacations. It gives us a lot more leeway to do life shit and not feel like we are constantly under the Dr. Phil microscope, which I think is important. So that's the schedule moving forward. That was the first thing that I wanted to talk about. I want to try a different format today with what we're doing because we see the messages people send us. Right. So even though we don't reply and it doesn't show that we read it because it's filtered, when people send messages on TikTok, we see them and I always read them. I'm nosy. I'm fucking nosy as shit. So I read it. But I screenshotted one yesterday that was a very simple question that I think would make a really good free-flowing discussion like we used to have on the podcast. It's not problem-solving other people's shit. It's what would you do in this scenario?
Okay.
And that would make for a fun, easy conversation. And I think when we do Q&As, that needs to be the MO, right? That's how we're going to do things moving forward so that it's just a really easy, they don't have to give a lot of details. They can do it in a super chat. We can read the hit points, put ourselves in that situation, be like, okay, this is how we would handle that. And that would be it. And before we get into that, I want to talk about the Harley thing.
Okay. Before you jump into that, I haven't eaten yet and I want to emotionally eat right now. Is it okay if I DoorDash something?
What are you going to DoorDash? Because I have not eaten yet either, but I'm dieting. I'm yesterday lit a flame under me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do sushi.
I will always eat sushi. I don't care how hard I'm dieting. I will eat sushi.
I'm going to eat sushi in front of you guys.
Okay.
Okay. Carrie, would you like sushi? You want like a rice bowl or something?
It's
Are you hungry?
taking everything I have not to make a lesbian joke to you, Carrie, because you don't eat fish. Oh man, that's funny.
That fucked me up a little bit inside.
Carrie and I are bake as fuck right now too.
Yeah,
I was not ready for that.
I bet that was a side blind.
I can't help it.
That's funny.
You can't make fun with your friends. Who can you make fun with?
Oh shit, that was pretty good.
So while you figure out food, can I get into the Harley thing?
Yes.
This is probably gonna ruffle some feathers, guys, and I apologize if it does. But no, I don't. I don't apologize if it does. If this hurts your feelings and we can't have an adult discussion about it, I don't. Go kick a rock. I don't know what to tell you.
We're not on the same level.
Probably not. So
Like that. Okay.
go ahead. I'll wait.
I'm too baked to follow my thoughts right now.
Okay.
So Harley-Davidson. I also have opinions on this, so let's go.
Okay. Sturgis is happening right now. This is the largest motorcycle event in the world. Not in the United States, in the world. And when it happens, tens of thousands of bikers go to South Dakota. Might be North Dakota. I could be.
Really? Is it the
Eight
Dakotas?
Dakotas, yes. And when they do, people come all the way from Mexico, Canada, all over the place, and they ride their Harleys
Canada
to
makes
this
sense.
event.
It's close.
This event is 93% Harley-Davidson motorcycles.
Right.
Harley-Davidson has a tent. It's South Dakota. I was right. It has a tent there. Bud Light also has a tent there. And normally,
I'm getting a phone call. Can you mute me for a second?
normally both of those tents are completely packed with people. That is not the case right now. And that's not the case right now because of the DEI woke nonsense that Bud Light and Harley has decided to take part in. I understand that when you think of Harley Davidson, you think of the, Vietnam veterans, you think of the bikers that came over here and built, choppers and brought their bikes back and created motorcycle clubs. And you think of like manly men, and Harley Davidson is turning away from that. And I saw yesterday that there are a lot of people who are, hang on guys, I'm going to mute my mic as well. All right. With that being said, that was because our kids are in school and one of them's got a tummy ache. And because that conversation was happening, I was having a hard time not listening because that was involving children and still having this conversation. So you guys got fucking muted. People are debadging their Harley Davidsons. They are literally taking all of the bar and shields off of their bikes and mailing them back to Harley. And I'm seeing a lot of that shit coming across my YouTube and TikTok and things of that nature. And people who actually have money are starting to get rid of their bikes. Mm-hmm. And some people who really have money are destroying their motorcycles, which I think is fucking asinine. But the reason I'm bringing this up is,
I mean, talk about standing on a principle though. Like
I'm going to trade my Harley in.
I could not imagine standing so firmly in something. I'm willing to destroy something I probably spent $100,000 on.
Well, I mean, you that's not an unreasonable number.
Right.
My Siva was 53,000 new.
Right.
And then you figure if I would have done the things that I wanted to do, that would have put me at about 70. Mm-hmm. And then you get into custom paint jobs and things of that nature. They could absolutely get up to 3 figures or 6 figures for a bike. The thing that got me was that one of the documents that I saw that was leaked online from whoever the fuck did all of this said that they sent 1,800 of their Caucasian employees to a seminar to teach them how to be less white and to be more whatever the fuck they were trying to do. And that was it for me. Like I am all for everybody having inclusion. I think that's a great thing. People should be comfortable in their skin and everywhere they go. But when you start telling somebody that they can't be what God intended them to be, that's a fucking problem for me. So I reached out to Monk, the guy that we bought your original Honda Shadow from. He's now working at an Indian dealership in Fort Myers, and I sent him the VIN number today, and I'm waiting to hear back from him.
He left his job at the Harley dealership?
Yep, he's working at an Indian dealership now. Wow. So I sent him the VIN number to the Civo, and I'm waiting to hear back. There's a very strong possibility that I'm going to trade my bike in for an Indian.
Okay. I
So-
mean, that's one of the things you were looking at.
I wanted one
Anyway,
anyways.
so-
Yeah, it works for me. Maybe this could possibly be an excuse to get into an Indian, but I don't.
Will I still be able to take my course?
Oh yeah, I bought the bike. They owe you that. So,
Okay.
I don't think that James Armstrong said, scroll up just a little bit for me, Carrie, so that it doesn't move. Sean Strickland, who's a UFC fighter who everybody fucking loves or hates, just made a big post on it a couple weeks ago on his Instagram about how he has a Harley and he's going to get rid of it somehow and doesn't support them anymore, regardless of they're a JFC sponsor. I think he might have said UFC sponsor. I think that when you look at Tractor Supply, you can scroll down. Tractor Supply had the other way. Tractor Supply had a big hoopla over all of this. And they came out on their website and was like, look, we're not going to do the DEI thing. But we understand that our core customer base is middle America country boys. Like, we do farm feeds. This doesn't really align with the principle of our customers. We apologize. We're not doing that. When a company steps back, recants, stops doing the bullshit that they're doing, I think that we need to support those companies again. And if Harley would have came back and been like, you're right, this is not who our customer base is. I understand that there's a whole lot of people that don't agree with what we're doing. Though we want to provide an inclusive environment, we can do so without demeaning the employees that we currently have and making it so that we're isolating the customer base that we already have. We can just continue to sell these people and make everybody welcome. We're going to do that moving forward. I'd have no problem supporting the brand.
Right.
I would absolutely go back to, like, I collect the Harley poker chips. I have Harley jackets. I have Harley all kinds of shit. I've been collecting it for 20 fucking years. I'm done with it. Like, I'm done with the brand over all of this. I don't know. I have a really hard time with major corporations trying to jump into politics. When I ride my motorcycle, the last thing that I'm trying to do is feel about politics or inclusion. I'm trying to enjoy my day and think about the freedom of the
Right.
road and like the time with my woman. And now when I look at my motorcycle, I think about all the shit that's
The
going
guy
on.
that sold me that was made to feel guilty that he's white.
Right. That 1,800 employees. They also announced that they're moving their sales of the Pan American and all of their sports style motorcycles to Thailand. So it's no longer an American made. And that was one of the biggest things with the Harley Davidsons for
Right.
people that are proud of our country. We buy American made. Like, so
Can you mute us for one more second? I'm so sorry, guys. There's
unmuted. Okay. All right. So now that we've covered that, is there anything that, because you said you had some opinions on Harley too. And I'm also going to go on a limb here and say, guys, that we've been very transparent about our politics and the way that
Right.
we stand. I am a staunch libertarian. I think people should be able to do whatever the fuck they want. And
Right.
Harley as a company should be able to do whatever the fuck they want. And me as a consumer gets to vote with my dollars. If this is what Harley wanted to do, if they wanted to say moving forward, we will no longer hire white people, fuck all of you guys, I have the right to be like, heard, I'm going to go buy this other motorcycle.
Right.
They have the right to do that. And this is what voting with your dollar is supposed to look like.
right. And them choosing to do that does not affect my life one way or another. I can get a motorcycle.
It affects my purchase. That's it.
Right. That's the only thing it affects.
Right. So now it will affect people who work for the company, the people who
Yes.
work in factories, the people who put everything together, the mechanics that work for them. Like it does affect them. It affects the company.
Right.
But they have the right to do what they want to do. And I support that.
Right.
I just don't support their actions by buying. Right. So I need to clarify that. And then as for the other political aspect of everything, so I'm a staunch libertarian. I lean conservative when it comes to financial things, and I lean liberal when it comes to social things.
Yeah.
To a degree. But I don't support this. Like, I have a huge fucking problem with it. And because I have a problem with it, the Harley's got to go. So what was it that you were going to say? Because you said that you had an issue with Harley that you wanted to talk about too.
No, just that I agree with you. I really don't understand. It sounds very dystopian to me. I don't remember the way that you phrased the seminar that they were sent to, but hearing that seminars like that are taking place sounds dystopian.
Yeah.
All right, guys, now get into your single file and march into this building.
Yeah. Learn. It's re-education.
Right.
And I can understand unlearning things.
Yeah.
That makes a whole lot of sense.
Right.
But when you look at what re-education is and when that term is utilized, it's not from a place of growth.
No.
It's always from a place of tyranny.
Yes, I want you to submit.
Yeah. Yep.
I am all for owning I might be ignorant to something. Or I misspoke and it came across super shitty. Correct me.
Right.
How you correct me matters. It will 100% dictate the way that I receive it. Right? If you call me a stupid fucking bitch, I can't believe that you said that. I'm glad you're offended. Fuck you.
Right. You meet aggression with aggression.
Right. But if you were to come to me and say, hey, the way that you said that came out kind of fucked up, well, explain to me how it came out kind of fucked up. Because I don't want to be judgmental.
Right.
Or harsh or
But that's,
involuntarily offensive.
that comes from a place of understanding, empathy, and adulthood.
Right.
And that's what we a lot of people are lacking right now, unfortunately. Can you scroll back up to the super chat that came through right there? What's up, Dirt Bike Buddy? He said, I completely agree with you. I'm thinking of covering my Harley tattoo.
Here it is.
You can scroll down.
So there was something that I saw today that I wanted to talk about.
Okay. We'll do that before we get into the other shit.
Okay.
Go.
Oh, right now?
Yeah.
I thought there were other things on your docket.
I mean, I have that screenshot, but that's it.
Okay, so a vast majority of you may have no idea who I am speaking on right now. But there is this woman named Tana. She has been on the internet for over a decade. Since she was like a minor, I think, 17, 18. And she created a podcast with who I believe, and from my understanding of other people speaking, I listened to Brett Cooper and her coverings of this whole situation. And there's a reason I'm talking about this. We will get there, I promise. She created a podcast with her best friend named Brooke, Canceled Podcast. And from my understanding, the Canceled Podcast is a play on the way society cancels people and moves on, grasps the next thing, cancels, and then moves on. And it was leaked that Brooke posted some tweets. From what I have seen, some people find them racist. The races that would be offended by these jokes find it funny. And they were posted over a decade ago when she was 16 or 17 years old. So she was a child. And the internet has done what the internet does. It has latched onto it and is now canceling her. One of the tweets that she posted was, what do you call a Mexican getting baptized? Bean dip. That was the tweet one of the tweets that people are latching onto, saying this is absolutely disgusting, abhorrent. She should not have a platform.
Because of something she said a decade ago when she was a minor.
As a child.
You know that cancel culture only happens because people allow it?
Correct. Yes. She made, I might be recollecting wrong, but she made 6 apology videos over the tweets. And that was her first mistake. You never make an apology video. Especially to those people, right? If you actually did something fucked up, like you got drunk and punk kicked a child.
It's a whole lot different than making a joke when you're a minor.
Right, right. I believe that deserves an explanation. And certainly an apology, at least to the child and the child's parents.
Right. That's so punk rock. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, man.
And, in regards to jokes like that, is that funny to me? No. If I'm in the middle of my day and I hear someone say that in the office across the room, I would be like, what the fuck? What did you just say to me?
Right.
Right? But that's not my type of humor. But also, I'm not going to condemn an edgy teenager for saying something stupid on the internet back in MySpace times. Like, oh, that's not MySpace. Oh my God. 10 years ago was 2015. Holy shit. Okay, back to the story. So she has come out, she has apologized, and she has said, I've grown as a person. I am disgusted by the things that I have said, which me as Peach, I am absolutely disgusted by past me, especially child me.
Most of us are.
Right. Everybody is embarrassed of the things that we said. There's shame that we carry because we recognize now, reflecting on our childhood, oh my God, I was such a dick. I was getting bullied, but I was also a bully. Like
Childhood. Still a child.
Yeah.
At least once a day I say some shit that I'm like, I probably could have phrased that better.
Yeah.
Right? Wasn't really the move. I got to call Zach. Right?
Right. I'm going to turn my ring back on just in case.
This real quick, this entire cancel culture, had that been me, I'd have been like, yeah, I said that shit. So what? I was a child.
Right.
I'm a fucking adult
I don't say it
now.
anymore. I don't view anything like that anymore.
Right.
I view that. I see how that's not funny, guys. I was stupid.
I wouldn't even say that.
Like,
at the time, that shit was fucking hilarious to me. I was 16.
right.
That's learned behavior. Guess what,
Right.
guys? I've unlearned that behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that this mass cancellation of Brooke happening right now it's sad. It's disgusting. And I feel really bad for her. From what I've seen, I don't watch the canceled podcast. I'm not into gossip like that.
Well, if their show is about cancel culture and
Yeah.
canceling people, this is karma.
Right. Yeah, true.
So if that's the case, I don't know anything about their podcast,
me
but their
either.
name is the Cancel Podcast.
Yeah.
And if they're canceling people and that's the entire extent of their platform,
Yeah.
I'm fucking for it.
Yeah.
You got
true.
exactly what the fuck you deserved. But I don't know if that's the case, so that's
Right.
hypothetical.
Well, I also agree with that. But the thing that I want to comment on is that Tana made a video and she was like, obviously, and I'm paraphrasing here, she's like, obviously, I'm the only one here on the couch and this is by my choice. We all saw the tweets. It's absolutely disgusting. And
That's supposed to be her best friend?
yes. But she said something that I'm really, really hung up on and I can't stop thinking about it is she said, in all of my time, and like I said, I'm paraphrasing, in all of the time I've spent with her and building our relationship and going to events and interacting and filming the podcast, she has never said anything that aligned with those tweets.
Okay, so she supported her friend.
No, because she's shitting on her. And she said, if I had seen anything like that, I would have ended this a long time ago, or I would have stopped standing by her a long time ago, something like that. So that wasn't said in a positive way, but she just commented on all the growth and the change and the character development that is done from childhood to adulthood.
Right.
So she is dropping her best friend, destroying a friendship because of backlash on the internet
She's trying to save
from
face.
people who cancel people. She herself, Tana, when she was 18 years old, went viral for saying the N-word.
Wait, that Tana's the one you've been talking about this whole time.
No. Brooke is the one who made the
Okay,
tweets.
I'm so fucking lost. Feels like middle school to me.
Brooke made the tweets. And now she's being canceled over the tweets. Tana is the one who shit on her best friend and was like, I can't believe she did these things. We all saw the tweets shitting on her, removed her from the podcast. When around the same age frame, she's going around saying the N-word multiple times and doing all of these other things that if we're going to call those tweets absolutely abhorrent and disgusting and you can never come back from that, you were walking around shamelessly saying the N-word to people, not caring that you're offensive.
Give me 1 second.
What I'm hung up on the most is that she spoke on the change.
Right.
And the character development and the growth that she went through. And in a time when a best friend would need somebody the fucking most in a massive cancellation on the internet,
She bailed.
she bailed.
She's trying to save face.
And in the same video where she's trying to save face, spoke on the truth of the change. I can't. I'm so disgusted.
So how should she have handled it?
You guys are immature. You are overreacting. Those were tweeted 10 years ago. Would I have found them funny 10 years ago? No. Do I find them funny now? No. The person that I know now is not the person who tweeted that. And it was 10 years ago when she was a child. Get over it. Now, if she was still saying things today like that and defending that behavior, then I can understand removing that person from your life. I'm getting a little bit heated. I need to calm down.
Yeah.
It's just sad.
The idea of cancel culture in itself is problematic for me, but this is one of those things that's really simple. If you don't like the way that somebody's behaving, sever ties.
Right.
It's as simple as that. You don't get to dictate the behavior of other people. I believe you have the right to say the N-word. You have the right to be punched in the fucking mouth afterwards by somebody if they're offended by it.
Right.
But I think that mutual combat should also be an acceptable thing in all 50 states.
I also think public execution should be a thing. So like,
Depending on the crime, absolutely.
yeah.
And televised.
Yes.
Sold on pay-per-view.
Like child essayers.
Right. Because that could be pay-per-viewed and then given to the victim's family. Right? Like, because I would pay to watch that.
Yeah, me too.
And that would stop it from happening. It would definitely deter, we have to stop because we'll get demonetized and absolutely kicked off the internet for this. So let's move along.
Simmer.
Yeah, move along.
On to the question. I just want to take a second. We have almost 1,000 people watching us right now.
Jesus.
Thank you guys for being here and hanging out with us and listen to us just talk.
Ain't now wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is really crazy.
Burton said, advice for a divorced man getting remarried soon. If not, all good. Love you guys' content. Advice for a man who's been divorced and getting married again. You know what you did wrong the first time.
Right.
Don't fucking do that again. All of your shortcomings, all of your mistakes, everything that you did that caused your divorce, you know you fucking did the shit. And I'm not saying it's your fault for the divorce because it takes two to tango, but you had some fucking shortcomings in that last marriage. Make a mental note. And if you find yourself falling back into that routine, fucking stop it. That's my advice. I think that's a really, really simple learn from your mistakes. If you were pissing on a hot fence and it fucking ran upstream and got your willy, you wouldn't do that shit anymore. Don't fucking do that.
Right. Somebody just asked, are patron members the only comments getting read during lives? This is a public live. So any comment that is read from the public.
If you send super chats, your super chats are guaranteed to get read.
Yeah.
Anything beyond that, we'll read at willy-nilly.
Yeah. Patreon comments only happen in Patreon lives.
Correct.
And those are kept away from the public.
Yeah. And those are much smaller in terms of population. There's only like 40 or 50 people in there on average.
More one-on-one conversations.
Yeah. But we read our podcast live and then interact with the chat on Patreon afterwards for 20 or 30 minutes on each episode we read. Okay. So anonymously, this person sent in a thing to our TikTok that said, I doubt you'll see this. I love you and your wife's podcast. Maybe y'all have an episode on this, but any tips on a wife's standpoint on rejection? I was like, that's an odd thing. What do you mean on rejection? Wife's standpoint? So do you mean like Peach's standpoint on rejection? Or do you mean like, anyways, so that was the first thing that hung me up. Then it goes on to say, I have 202. I try my best to keep the house nice, and I'm always initiating advances to be told no. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. He's too tired or wants to just relax. He would go months without intimacy. He kisses me bye and sometimes hello, but rarely. Then she said, I find myself just going to be alone crying. And I feel like this is a really good opportunity for you and I to have a very simple conversation because there's no information in that.
Right.
So let's put ourselves in those shoes, living the life that we're living.
Okay.
In the event that I stopped kissing you when I came home, very rarely kissed you goodbye, and turned down every one of your advances to be intimate with an excuse, how would we have to work around that? Because you would be feeling rejected and I would be feeling, as he put it, tired or needing to relax.
Well, I'd be feeling a whole lot more.
Okay.
I'm not just feeling rejected. I have borderline. So my husband no longer loves me. I should unalive myself. That's the first thought that I have to battle. That's how extreme my borderline is right now.
Okay.
It's calmed down a lot. It's not as aggressive as it once was. I don't have mental breakdowns every time I feel that way now. But that is still the first emotional reaction that I have when I feel like I am failing or I have fucked up. So that's my first mental hurdle that I would have to work through before I even approach a conversation with you. Once I work through that, I would have to reevaluate, okay, well, have I eased up on my interactions with him? Have I dropped the ball on giving kisses when I get home or kissing goodbye? Have I dropped the ball on intimate touches? And then I would reevaluate that. And if I have dropped the ball on that, I would just start doing that more. Because when I do that, you reciprocate. And you go out of the way, you're like, ooh, that felt good. Now I want to surprise her, right? So that would be my silent resolution of that situation. Now, if I have done that, right, I have increased touches or I have maintained my touches and my want for intimacy, I would evaluate our life changes. Like, has anything massive changed in our life right now? Are we struggling financially? Have we been struggling financially for the last 9 months? I take things super personally. I have worked a lot on not taking things personally. But it's still a hard thing for me to not do that. And I also sometimes go, why is he doing this to me? Not you specifically, but like people in general, when somebody hurts my feelings, why are they doing this to me? And I know that's an illogical thought process because people don't do things to me. They just do things and it happens to affect me emotionally because I have a tie to them.
That is one of the most critical things that anyone can ever learn and solidify in their thought processes. People are not doing this to me. They are doing this for them.
Right.
In the moment, I am an afterthought. I am the center of my universe and they are the center of their universe. And though I may want to be the center of their universe, I'm not.
Right.
So when people make decisions to do things, they put themselves first. Everyone does. And then beyond that, they start running down the list of how it could affect their world. But that's normal thought process. And when you realize that that's what everyone does, you stop taking things so fucking personal and stop playing the victim all the time.
Right. So the other morning I texted you. I was like, hey, are you out in the gym yet? And you came into the bathroom and you're like, do you need something? Why did you text me that? And I was like, oh, I was just wondering because I've noticed like our kisses have decreased before you going out to the gym or you saying, hey, I'm going to go work out. And we had a conversation. You're like, no, I noticed that. But, we have the dog and the kids are back in school. And sometimes you're doing something when I'm in the shower or whatever. And I think that's a really good example of that of I could have been like, he doesn't fucking kiss me anymore. Fuck him. I'm gonna stop putting my feet on him when we lay on the couch together as my silent fuck you to my husband. That's where I view that vindictiveness coming in.
I would view that as a silent fuck you.
Right.
That
right.
That would be super personal to me because that is a thing for us.
Right.
And I would notice it after a day or two. We'd have, I'm a Captain Caveman you and drag you across the fucking couch by your bad ankle.
Oh, no.
I'm going to teach you a lesson.
Not Jessica. But, oh, sorry.
So I don't want to get too far away because you said in your example, you would say, what if we're stressed out for finances and you didn't know our finances where we were for the last 9 months? 2 kids under 2 is a lot. Even if there is a stay-at-home mom, dad coming home from a full day of work, 2 kids under 2, dealing with the mom, dealing with the kids, trying to make sure the house is still taken care of. That situation is not a relaxing, comfortable environment.
Right.
It's definitely not the environment before 2 kids under 2 were born. So if that was the case and you realize that there is an abundance of stress and not enough relaxation, how would you address that?
There's too much stress and not enough relaxation. Is that what you just said?
The money, finances, everything that I just laid out. The money, finances, like you said.
Right.
Too much stress, not enough relaxation, because that's very common with all the things that we hear in emails.
Okay, so you're asking me a question now?
How would you proceed after breaking down your mental process, knowing we're fucking tight on funds for the last 9 months? When he does come home, the house is a mess because every time I clean it, they unclean it.
Okay, I need a second. Because I didn't wrap up my thought before we transitioned.
I was trying not to lose mine. So
okay.
Because we went way past that example and I didn't want to interrupt then. So.
Okay, so ask me the question again.
In your example, you said, what if they're behind on finances 9 months or they're stressing over finances for the last 9 months? Knowing that there's 2 kids under 2 in the home, nobody's getting any rest or relaxation.
Right.
Doesn't matter if there's a stay-at-home there all day, dad comes home and does the thing. So knowing that it could be stress over finances or not enough rest and relaxation between the 2 of them, which I'm willing to bet is the case, how would you approach that situation once that came up? because you would be going through your mental checklist.
Right.
When you hit that point, you go, okay, this makes sense. This is probably why. Because the first thing you said was, I would create that intimacy if I realized I was lacking. If this was the case, how would that get corrected?
So if that's the thing that I can pinpoint, right? Like you are somebody who has your testosterone in check. So that's not going to be my first thought. If my husband didn't have his testosterone in check, babe, you're getting fucking tested. You can kick and scream, and I'll pull you in your overalls. I'm gonna manhandle you. Let's go.
We're getting some blood work done. Okay.
So I would approach the conversation of my intimacy needs are not being met. And I know that finances have not been what they've wanted. I noticed you're not paying attention to me. So
I'm
fucking
listening.
me
You
up.
just said finances are not what I wanted. I was getting a drink and happened to look over. I was absolutely listening to you.
Right.
But
But
I have to
I
look
can't
over.
believe that after that email the other day.
I had to look over to grab my soda.
Okay.
Or I would have spilt it all over the mixer.
Okay.
And I just set it down and happened to look over. I am absolutely paying attention.
Okay.
Although now you made me forget what you were saying because you just challenged me. And I addressed it. So
Right. So did you hear the first part of that statement?
I heard all of it, but now it's gone because
Okay.
you just side railed my brain like I did you a minute ago.
So my intimacy needs are not being met.
Right.
And I know that finances are not where we want them to be. And I have tried to silent problem solve because I know you're stressed. So I've tried to increase my intimacy touches and requesting playtime. And there's still rejection. So I don't know if it's like a stress related to the finances, because that's the thing that makes sense to me in my mind, or if there's something else going on, but I'm not feeling loved in our relationship right now, and I need help with that.
Would you use the term loved?
Yes.
Okay.
Because if there's no kissing, there's no hand holding, oh God. I'm going to make myself cry thinking about you coming home and not giving me a kiss walking through the door. It takes one time for me to go, I fucked up and he's mad at me.
Okay. So let's subjectively break this down because I am very aware that people don't like their person anymore.
Okay.
When you get into that roommate phase, love is still very much prevalent, or you would not continue to do the things that you do for your partner, like maintaining the house and going to a job and making sure that everything is taken care of. That does come from a place of love. You don't take care of another human being just to take care of another human being. So understanding that there is still some form of love there and the disconnect is happening over intimacy and the issue of the 2 under 2 and the work and all of that. My first thought is life was a whole lot freer when it was just the two of us doing whatever the fuck we wanted to do. And if we wanted to have, 2 hours of date night where we're flirting and playing around uninterrupted on the couch watching TV to build up to something happening, that's not the case anymore because there's 2 children under 2 there. There's a strong possibility that if we start fucking around, somebody's waking up. There's something's going to happen. That's going to get interrupted. And even if you wait until you go to bed and it's late at night, it's now late at night. If you guys are going to bed at different times because you have different schedules, that creates an intimacy problem as well, especially if you're waiting until bedtime for those things to happen. I also believe that intimacy intimacy starts in the morning. That kiss goodbye, a note in the lunchbox. I've been thinking about you. I miss you. You're so handsome. You're hot. I love that you're such a good mom, blah, 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 right? That conversation can lead into playtime. I'm going to put the kids to bed an hour early tonight so that we have at least 2 hours before one of them wakes up where we can do whatever we're doing. That conversation needs to be had. The lack of intimacy comes from a lack of enjoyment in life. If you guys are both fucking miserable because stress is happening and one person's mental illness isn't right, it's going to affect the whole of the relationship because it is a team effort now. If you're not okay, I'm not okay. If I'm not okay, you're not okay. If you're going through what you're going through and I tried to initiate and you're like, babe, not tonight. And then 2 days later, I try again and you're still going through it. And you're like, babe, not tonight. I'm not going to try anymore. I'm going to wait until you let me know that it's okay for us to try again. Then what? So in her situation, she's now at that point where she's not going to want to continue trying because he shut her down every time. And if he doesn't initiate because his mental health isn't okay and he hasn't done the work to fix whatever's going on, and he just accepts that this is his life now and this isn't fun, I don't love my life, I'm just going through the motions, what's the fucking point in this? Eventually, one day it'll get better. Those scenarios are doing nothing to correct what's going on in the world.
Right.
Find a babysitter for the weekend. Go stay at a beach resort or go to a casino or fucking go sleep in your van.
Are you fucking kidding me?
What?
Our DoorDash was delivered 20 minutes ago and it was listed, hand it to me, and they didn't knock.
I got motion, but they've been out there doing maintenance. I assume
Our
that
sushi is sitting outside.
Will you grab that, please, Carrie? I would do something in terms of a weekend away, children free, where there is a day of R&R. Maybe we go do a spa day and just literally lay around on the couch and watch TV and do nothing that takes any type of physical or mental energy whatsoever. And then once that is done, we can have the discussion about intimacy and the things that we enjoy, or maybe trying something new, or, hey, I brought this bag of toys and I want to fuck like we're teenagers or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, but that conversation and that get-go needs to happen in order for things to start transitioning. And I think a lot of that does come from the changes of life and the stress that happens, and that's normal. It takes work to make sure that that shit doesn't actually affect you. And it takes intent to make sure that the intimacy doesn't fall off with the kisses and the hugs and the random booty pictures or secret touches throughout the day. I don't know. I don't want to drop the big O word, but that's the thing for me. I don't know what you got. I don't know whose is whose. So I'm going to give you both bags.
That's probably my rice.
She told you guys you're going to get to watch her eat sushi, so. Alexa Mercedes said, what do I do when I have a boyfriend who supports me but throws it in my face that he does so? That's manipulation. You find a new boyfriend. I am 100% a child of somebody who had everything ever in his life dangled over his fucking head. And I will never allow anyone to do anything for me without compensation of any way, shape, or form, because I don't want anybody to ever be like, well, I did this for you. That's fine. And if I have people in my life, I'll unmute you now that you're done with that. If I had anyone in my life that was like, well, I did this for you, so you owe me. That's not how this works, guys. This is not the transactional thing that we have in our relationship is because I want to do for you and you want to do for me, not because you owe me or I owe you.
I found mine.
Can you scroll back up to that super chat?
Is that the end of our conversation?
No.
Okay.
Do you have anything that you would like to add to that one?
No, I'll wait.
Well, that would be the end of the conversation if you don't have anything to add to it.
Okay.
Or are you talking about going back to the other conversation?
What other what are you talking about?
I just answered a question on the podcast.
Right. Yeah, the other conversation that we were having. Are we moving on from that?
I assume so.
Oh, okay.
We can go back to it. I'm fine with going back to it. I just saw the question and answered it while we were waiting on our food. But there is a super chat we'll get to next. So if you want to go back to the other conversation, the intimacy thing, we absolutely can.
I'm going to have to think about it because all of that just confused the fuck out of me and my thoughts gone.
Well, you want to take a second and eat your food and think about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I would like to eat some of my sushi too. You guys get to watch us eat. You know, there are people who get paid for this. Quick, send your super chats. No, I'm just kidding.
Stop. Don't play with me.
Could you imagine?
I'm not going to do a mukbang, but I'll eat on
that's
camera.
what they're called. Yeah.
I'll fucking eat on camera.
I obviously have no issue with it either. I'm about to cram this whole thing in my mouth.
You should push the microphone away from your throat
Why?
so they don't hear you chewing. Someone is having an autistic meltdown right now.
I can make it worse.
No. You bitch. So every single night, I lay down with the kids for 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what time we do bedtime. And we will watch educational videos. We'll read a book. We're going to do something at the end of the day that me and each individual child can bond over that's separate from their sibling.
Okay.
And I want to make it educational because we're not just brain rotting. And our daughter has been really into cooking videos right now. And we've been watching Tiny Kitchen. And it's cooking, just smaller. And we're talking about the ingredients being added, why they're putting it in the oven. Like, I'm turning it into a thing where she can learn. And at the end of the videos, the tiny person eats the cake. And the person making these videos adds in sound effects. And it's just chewing and chewing and chewing. It does not take someone this long to eat a tiny piece of cake. Why are you still chewing? And like the frosting piping bag sound onto the cake infuriates me. If our daughter didn't enjoy it so much, I'd be like, we're never watching this again.
I feel that. I was watching dog training videos today because I don't know if I'm going to buy myself a puppy and train it myself or if I'm going to buy a trained dog.
Right.
But the guy that I'm watching is a fairly large male, and you can hear him breathing.
When he walks.
You can hear him breathing anyways because he's talking a lot and he's running out of breath. And like he's... Bro, let me tell you, hearing somebody breathe, it's like nails on a chalkboard to me. So like, if I could just skip it.
But he's giving vital information as he's wheezing.
And what if he talks? Like, I need to hear it. Yeah, I get that. Do you have anything on the intimacy thing before I move on?
No, the thought's gone.
Okay.
But I do have something that I want to touch on before we read that super chat.
Okay.
So almost 40 minutes ago, I got a phone call from our daughter's school.
Yep.
She's saying her tummy hurts. Yesterday, she stayed home from school and was bouncing off the walls. This morning, she woke up for school and said, I don't want to go to school. I'm bored there. Sweetheart, you got to go. I'm sorry. And now she's at school and she's trying to get out of being at school by having them call me. She laid in a bed for 20 minutes and she's back in class now because she feels better. She just didn't want to be in her classroom for a little bit.
She's manipulating people.
She wanted a little break. You can take 20 minutes and... I'm watching a lot of Super Nanny right now. And some of the things I'm seeing parents do, like being super lenient on things. There was one 7-year-old boy who had his mom wiping his butt. And she was like, if I don't do it, he just sits in there and screams.
Let him sit in there and scream.
Sit in there and scream. That's what the dad was saying. He was like, I can't believe you're doing this. He should just sit in there and scream. And when he's done being in there, he will either wipe his butt or he's going to get made fun of for walking around with poop on him.
Yeah. Pain and embarrassment are the best teachers on the planet. Start calling him stinky. Is that the end of your thought?
Yes.
Michael said, hey guys, I married my wife on April 30th and started my job as an over-the-road trucker May 1st. Here we are 90-something days in and she's packing to leave.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm assuming you're not home for days on end. She's probably lonely. I'm assuming that there's a whole lot of needs not being met from either one of you.
Was there a discussion had of you being a long road? Is that what it is?
Over the road.
Over the road driver before the marriage? My God, here's our wedding night. All right, bye, babe. Like, he left the day after their wedding. Was that known? Like, did she know that? Did she underestimate what it took to be a wife of an on-the-road trucker?
I don't know. I think that whole situation is a whole lot of preparedness that needs to happen because you effectively become a long-distance marriage at that point.
You do.
My mom and my adopted mom and adopted dad are, he's a truck driver. He has been for a very long time. And it's some one of the things that they're very close when he's home and they talk all the time when they're not. They talk on the phone. Like, they spent a lot of time together digitally, the best that they could to make things work, but they wanted their marriage to work. They love each other. And I think that it's an effort. You know, Wakinya and Scott are Wisconsin and Florida, and they're married with children.
And they're fucking happy.
They're thriving. But it takes a whole lot of conversation and a fuck ton of work.
And understanding and grace.
And this is where the work comes in. You know, we keep saying on this thing all the time, it takes work, it takes work, it takes work. None of this shit is easy. Our relationship is not easy. It's been a fucking trial and error the entire time. The thing that separates us from most people is we have conversations, listen, improve, and move forward. Mm-hmm. I stopped there because I'm about to address that. I see you keep looking.
I want to address it.
Have at it, babe.
Okay, well, you stopped there, but I also see it. Someone said, Peaches, you look upset.
That's why I stopped.
Well, somebody else said there's tension. Yes, I'm upset. I live with mental illness, guys. Every day is a fucking struggle for me. Some days are better than most. Today is not one of those days. We get raved about for our authenticity, and then when I'm authentic, it's a fucking problem. There's not tension. I have mental illness, and I am coping the best that I can right now. If I forget something, I forget something. My husband is doing the best that he can right now and supporting me through my mental illnesses and struggling on camera with you guys. Reading into that there's tension, that's your own cognitive bias.
You should keep talking.
No, because I'm going to start fucking crying. I'm upset because it takes a lot for me to come in front of a camera and do all of this. I never wanted this life. I never wanted the notoriety. I never wanted the fame. We have almost 1,000 people watching us right now, and I'm fucking struggling with me wanting to survive today. And I can't control other people's perspectives or their cognitive biases. But to hear it so much all the time, I'm mentally ill. I struggle. If I look upset, it's because I'm upset in the moment. And it's not because of my husband. It's not because of whatever made up scenario someone's imprinting on the situation. I've been struggling for weeks.
Keep going, babe. Tell them. We had a really long discussion. We were supposed to go live at 10 today. We had a very long discussion about this shit this morning. Don't hold back. Fucking tell them. I'm tired of that shit. You get to go to work. Everybody else gets to go to work. You have a bad fucking day and your mental health's not good. You get to go to work and you get to deal with the fucking phone calls.
And it's not your life.
And hairdressers or tattooing or construction or whatever the fuck it is that you're doing. And you get to have a bad mental health day and you don't get judged for it.
I'm always expected to be happy. I'm always expected to be peppy. And if I'm sitting here just listening with concentration, oh, she's upset. What's the matter? Her husband's abusing her. I don't feel like a person. I don't feel like a human. I can't just leave work and not feel anything because my work is my fucking life. I am the market. Like, I am the thing that people glob onto. So I can't just separate my work from my life. Fucking love my husband. And when I'm struggling like this, my husband is the greatest support that I have. The fury I feel in me when people go, oh, he's the problem. She's upset because of him. Oh, there's tension going on, guys. There's something going on between them right now. I'm tired of my life being a conspiracy theory.
I know.
I'm fucking tired of my life being a conspiracy theory. And I have mental illness. I have a really hard time sometimes differentiating between reality and like my delusions of shit. There are times where I'm living my life like a video game and I hit a brick wall and I realize if I die, there's not a respawn point and it pushes me into a depression. Like, I'm fucked up, guys. So having conspiracy theories about my own life thrown at me because people want to think whatever they want to think fucks with my mental health. I love you.
I love you too. This is just a bad time right now. It's a bad day. It's not, it's not a bad life.
I know.
We've talked to a lot of other people who are in the spotlight, and a lot of content creators go through this because your life becomes under a microscope, and the things that you choose to show people gets analyzed and picked apart, and people want to assign their own belief systems to what's going on, where they think that they know you. Like, for us to tell people that we have borderline, because we both have borderline, and our borderline affects us differently, until they've seen you go through a borderline episode, they only hear that you have borderline. They don't see what your borderline episodes look like. They don't see you in the kitchen barely being able to stand up fucking in my arms sobbing because you're having a bad day.
Right.
They don't see my mental health bad days where I'm isolating and fucking going through it the way that I go through it. Like, we're an idea to people. They don't know us. They know...
Everybody on the internet is an idea to everybody else.
Right.
I don't think there is any true humanity viewed when someone picks up their phone or logs on a computer. They see the cold text and a profile photo.
Right.
And half the time, the profile photo isn't even a person. Or it's a 10-year-old photo, or it's doctored.
Right.
Everything on the internet's fucking faked. And I think all of this harshness and all of the shittiness and all of the toxicity that people throw is because they can't do it in their real life.
I agree with that.
I appreciate your guys' words of support. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate the people who fucking understand. I appreciate the people who view me as a human. The amount of times I've seen you changed in your comments and the hate I receive because they don't like the change that they perceive. The shame, the shunning, the judgment. The internet is a very desolate, inhumane place.
Right. Because it's not about the user, or it's not about the person, it's about the user. Everybody, this is the center of the universe. It's the center of the universe complex. Main syndrome, main person syndrome, main character syndrome is what they call that. People who hit you with, you've changed, my response to them is, I'm supposed to. You don't like it, that's a you problem.
Right.
I love me. I'm happy with where I'm at. I still have borderline, but my borderline episodes are fucking minuscule compared to what they were 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I'm on a trajectory upward. And as long as I'm moving upward, I'm fucking golden. So for anybody that's got any issue with the way that I'm living my life right now, you can suck a dick because I'm fucking thriving. You're struggling right now with a whole lot of things, and some of it is the perception, but you have other things that you're going through. That's normal life shit. It's okay for them behind the scene to be breaking down and having marital issues or parenting issues or friendship issues or job issues, but the moment you don't feel good, they got a fucking problem with it. I'm not about that, which is why I was getting ready to interject.
I also recognize that I had someone reach out to me the other day, and they didn't mean this in a shitty way at all. They did not mean it in a negative way. But just the fact that it had to be said it fucked me up. Because this is what my life has come to. And I was really struggling. I was fucking going through it. And my friend reached out to me. And she said, I'm here if you need to talk about anything. I'm even willing to sign an NDA.
That speaks a lot on the nonsense that we've had to deal with since we became public figures. I didn't know that happened. Why didn't you tell me that?
Because it fucked me up.
I would like to have a discussion about that off camera. There's a whole lot of questions that I have that I would like to have answered, but it doesn't need to be to the masses.
This life is a lot. This life is a lot piled on top of just being a fucking person. Like, I am struggling with things outside of the podcast and the pressure and the notoriety that comes with it, and I'm a hermit. If I could live in the middle of nowhere for the rest of my life and have my food air flighted to me and never talk to another human being outside of my husband and my children again,
I actually believe you when you say that.
I would be so content.
I know you would. We are two very different people in that aspect.
We are. So with me being that kind of person, all of this is a lot. And all of this is fantastic. I love the podcast. I love the fan base. I love everybody that follows us. I appreciate the support. I love the fact that you guys are so into what we were doing that we can do this for a career. Like, I feel blessed. I feel lucky. There's times I feel like I don't deserve it. With all of that really dope shit comes a lot of really negative stuff.
It gets heavy.
And having to deal with all of that really negative stuff while still just trying to be a normal human being. I have panic attacks about walking into a grocery store.
That's why there's a dog now.
Like, it's a lot.
Has it gotten better since we got email screeners? Because I remember for a long time you reading the emails so you guys don't know this, but a lot of the times when we would sit down to record a 2-hour episode, we'd be in the chair for 6 or 7 hours at a time. And we would start an email, and some of those emails would be so heavy with abuse and details of the abuse that we'd have to stop and walk away and come back and like start over.
Or we would have to find a new email.
Right. And it would. And we'd have to scrap a whole lot of content in doing that. So has that at least helped having the screeners?
Yes, they have helped. I think...
Oh my God, excuse me.
I think I definitely do need to talk about some of the trauma that I have built up from reading some of those emails in therapy and learn how to cope with that.
Well, that's happening. So I know that this affects you on an emotional level in a way that it does not affect me. And I really thought the voice of the broken would affect me. And like, it definitely rips off scabs and it makes me emotional in the moment, but I'm able to compartmentalize that shit and bounce back because I'm not living that way now and I'm not going through it where it sits in you. I wanted to have a conversation earlier about energy, and I think we should get into that too, but maybe after you're done with this. I don't want to interrupt this.
I'm fine to move on from this.
Okay. For the mods who are in the chat, is anybody catching super chats? We missed a couple of them, and I'll go back afterwards and we'll catch them. I don't want to have to scroll through pages and pages and pages of comments. We have our faith, right? And you're doing Bible studies with the women's group now, and you have your groups that you're doing things with. This morning, when Hurricane Little Debbie did not affect us at all, but it ruined our fucking park.
It did, yeah, where we go do our hikes.
It's flooded, so we can't go for our morning walks. Getting Ivy allowed us an excuse to have to go walk the dog in that park every day. And we've gone out there twice now, and it's been so flooded we can't even get into the driveway to get in there. Today it looked like it might be open by this weekend, depending on weather, which I'm hopeful for. But on the way back, I started thinking about the transference of energy and atoms and the way that the universe works. And there's a part of me that will always have the evangelical upbringing that I had with my adopted family that goes, crystals are magic, it's a sin, it's new age, you can't do that. But there's that part of my brain that goes, well, if crystals exist, God created it. And if God created it and it has healing properties and food is medicine, why can't crystals be medicine?
Right.
And if energy exists, and we know on an atomic level, energy does exist and it's around us all the time. And Newton's theory of, it just escapes me, but basically it's that you can see the atom and when you look away and you come back to it, it's gone. That was the short of it. I can't think of the name of that actual theory right now, but I know that exists. energy transference is very real. And when you look at like Buddhism and you look at meditation and you look at what epigenetics is and all of that is based off of our conscious and energy, I started thinking about us walking into a room and turning on a light switch. Let there be light. The energy coming through the power lines into my house that I pay for that is wired to make that fucking light bulb work allows me to be God. Somebody had to create that to the house to make that happen. Therefore, atoms and energy and all of those things absolutely does exist by God's plan, because if God didn't create the things necessary to have light, we would not have light. And I had this whole fucking like, you know how I get with my books,
Right.
right? I'll hear something that has nothing to fucking do with anything and pause it, and we'll have a really dumb conversation. Normally, a really dumb conversation about absolutely nothing.
do you remember what I said about the Book of Esther this morning?
Yes.
So I get it.
But that's how our brains work.
Yeah.
So I'm driving back. It's like a 30-minute drive, and I'm running through this whole fucking ordeal about energy transference. And I started thinking about what we're doing here. And this being our legacy, because we are helping people by having these conversations, and we are suffering so that others don't have to. I have suffered personally. I believe my suffrage has been so that I can help others, so that they don't have to suffer the way I did, because I was able to endure and overcome where others may not. Now, that energy transference that I had to tolerate is now being manifested into something positive and helping other people. I don't remember why I got on the subject with you. The whole thought process came up in the car this morning, and I actually wanted to have the conversation with you about it, but when I got home, we had other conversations about things. I truly believe that we are the vibration that is affecting the world around us. And sometimes we have to get shaken up for that energy to actually become a thing. And I know that anytime we start doing, and this is a religious thing, for those of you who aren't religious, you view it as a universe instead of God if it makes you happy. But anytime you start doing what you're destined to do, and you start making moves and you start winning and you start advancing, and things, the enemy starts losing, the attacks get worse. And we have seen a lot of ugly followed by a whole lot of good, and then a whole lot of ugly again followed by a whole lot of good. And right now your attacks are emotional, mental, are very different than the attacks that we've received in the past. And I think it's because we are at a point right now where we're about to explode with something new. We've gone up 50,000 followers in 3 months on YouTube. We've reached new downloads on all the podcast stuff. All of the social media stuff is doing way better than it has been. And we were getting ready to start coaching this morning. I made the website live yesterday without any announcements. I was going to announce it today on today's show, and the breakdown happened. I think that this is the universe either trying to prepare us for what's coming by making you get therapy, or making you maybe do some fucking sound baths or whatever it is that you need to do to get that shit off of you. Because I do believe that that's what's going on. And maybe that's what needs to happen before we start doing the coaching thing. Because this morning when we talked about it, you said you don't want to not do it. You just said you don't want to do it right now. So maybe this is a divine sign that this needs to slow down a little bit. All of that was not really relevant to the energy thing, but
Yeah.
it is a coherent thought. So I ran with it.
I thank you for sharing it. Thank you for letting me in on your thought process. I had a thought, reading all of the support in the chat. I was like, group hug, but nobody touch me. I'll go into sensory overload.
You actually asked me to make you a t-shirt yesterday that said I overstimulated myself.
Yeah. I did ask for that, yeah. I've overstimulated myself.
We got our shirts organized and set up on the website last night. So all the previous run shirts that are not in stock are back on the website.
Hell yeah.
Let's see if I open Discord, if it'll pull up to our screen or hers. Did that open on your screen, Carrie? She's having a moment.
Can you, babe, while you're up, can you get me a soda, please?
What?
Can you get me a soda, please? Oh, Jesus. Ivy moved and I thought my thing was dropping. Thank you. I love that you opened my soda for me.
I don't want you to break your nails.
It means a lot. You think about me and I appreciate that.
Super chats are there. Dope. So we have the super chats up. We can just minimize this for right now because I'm not ready to read them, but we'll get into that in a minute. I'm glad that you did that today.
Why?
Because we get caught up in this. We have to tiptoe around certain things in our lives. Right? Like the Harley-Davidson conversation is probably not something that I should have had on here because there are going to be people who listen to us who are going to feel isolated or feel like we are somehow not aligned with them. And because we're not aligned with them, they're going to hit us with the, well, I used to love you guys, but, and then not fuck with us anymore. And that speaks on why people's relationships are failing, right? Because if you used to love us and because we don't align on one thing, you don't fuck with us anymore, you don't understand what love is. That's why your relationships are failing.
That's conditional love.
It is.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. And that's a you problem. So figure your shit out. I don't want to tell you I don't care. There's also a part of me that was like, that's cool. You're not ready to be here yet. So until you're healed enough to actually be here, go do the work. And when you're ready to come back, we'll be here to, hey, sorry you had to go through that. We're here. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm glad that you actually put that out there because there's been a lot of times where you've been bothered by that. And I know it's bothering you and you've just been like, guys, fucking let it go. I don't think that it's a bad thing to tell people what's going on with you. And you got a lot out today. Do you feel better?
We'll see when I calm down.
Yeah. Erica said, being constantly in the eyes of the public and voicing their critique and opinions can be so tough. Please don't stop talking about all of this. Some of us didn't have anyone having these conversations with us. Vulnerability is hard, and I wish everyone understood that and was able to receive the information and be gentle in responding. I fucking agree. In the men's group this morning, I talked about our time in Tennessee. You and I have talked about that a lot privately. Oh, wait. Would you like me to get you a fork? You're gonna chopstick that.
I'm going to chopstick it.
You and I have had a lot of conversation in private about what Tennessee was for us. For those of you who don't know, when we did our last meet and greet, we rented a cabin in Blue Ridge, Georgia, and invited 3 of our closest friends and brought the kids. And we had a week of downtime where, other than the meet and greet, we didn't really leave the cabin.
Right. We did Rock City.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. We left one time, like actually did an outing, which Rock City was super fucking dope.
It was. I enjoyed it.
But during that time frame, you and I both had come to the realization after the fact that that was us creating the family that we wish we had and the tribe and community that we want in person. And that time alone was not encumbered.
What does that mean?
It was not weighed down by anything.
Okay.
There was no expectations. Like, I fucking needed that downtime, I think probably more than everyone, because I was so burnt out by the time we got there that I didn't realize how burnt out I was. That I sat on the couch. Like, I literally laid down and watched D&D almost the entire time that we were there.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't think you wanted to go on vacation.
I needed a break. I've been nonstop. Like, I don't take a whole lot of days off. Even when I have a day off, I'm doing something. That's the first time that since we've started all this almost 2 years ago, where I didn't do anything. I didn't check the men's group. I didn't check the Discord other than random, like if I was tagged. I only posted TikToks when I felt like it versus on the schedule that I'm supposed to have. I wasn't doing the premiere. I wasn't editing video. There was no clips. I didn't talk to AJ. I didn't talk to my manager from the tattoo shop unless there was a fucking problem. Like, I unplugged. And I didn't realize how much I needed that. But having that community and that no expectations of anyone allowed me to be down there watching TV. And when I wanted to come upstairs and interact and have fun, I got to do that. And when I was like, okay, my battery's drained again, I'm going back downstairs, I got to go back down and charge again. I don't think that people have the community that we got to experience even for that week. I think there's a whole lot of people who have really shitty family members that manipulate and lie and deceive and abuse. There's no other better word for that.
Right.
And because they don't have that, they don't have the safety of the conversations that we were able to have while we were in Tennessee. And I think that community and that thing is what most people are craving. And I think our podcast gives people that because they're able to relate to us because of the way that we feel about what they're going through. We're putting a name to it. And because we have no skin in the game to what they're going through, they're able to connect with us like that. And that speaks on the conversation from that last chat that I had read. It's a lot. It's a lot.
I want to just touch briefly on the fact that I didn't have an argument with you once about you being disconnected and staying in the basement most of the time.
Not at all. You came down and checked on me and went back and did whatever you were doing to make you happy. Went and took pictures, hung out with the kids, hung out with Zach and Jenny, hung out with Carrie. When Carrie needed timeout, she took a timeout. When they needed a timeout, they took a timeout. Like it was, I don't know. It's probably the most loved I have felt outside of our home in a really long time. I think people need that.
I agree.
We're so used to a village to raise everyone and like the elders to lean on. And we were watching Animal Kingdom last night, and we're at the point where Craig thinks he's a dad.
Yeah.
And he's going from person to person to person to person to try to find somebody to simply talk to him. And everyone's going through their own shit. Nobody has the time to just simply hear him out.
The one person who did is a drug addict.
Right.
I mean, they're mostly all drug addicts, but she's a manipulative one.
She did it out of manipulation.
Yeah.
And I watched that happen, and I watched all of that play out, and we talked about it as it was happening. We paused it because we can't just watch TV anymore. Which I also think is a problem because most people watch TV to disassociate. They shut their brain off and just be fed entertainment, where we don't do that because we see something like, oh, fuck that. We're talking about this.
Yeah. That was Grey's Anatomy for me, but now I'm all caught up on Grey's Anatomy. I'm all caught up on Bridgerton, Queen Charlotte. Those were my disassociation shows. I didn't break anything down on that. I just watched it for the plot line. Yeah.
I can't. There's not a single thing I can watch like that. I can't enjoy television anymore.
I know that like Grey's Anatomy is not a real hospital show, right? That's also one of those shows I've been watching for like 2 decades. So I guess I don't want to taint it with that thought process of breaking everything down. Oh my God, if I were to dive into Meredith and Derek's relationship,
I don't know who these people
I can't
are.
do that.
I've never watched a single
Meredith's so
episode of that
fucking
show.
toxic. I love Meredith, but she's so toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen a single episode.
I could do Gossip Girl of those shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just sit around and like talk shit of the scenarios and whatnot because it's all fake. But I guess Animal Kingdom is too. I talk a lot of shit about Animal Kingdom. But I think I take a lot of that stuff personally too. Like it hits me in my feelings a little bit more than Grey's Anatomy does.
Right. Well, that's because there's relatable scenarios on those shows.
Yeah.
You watch any of those shows where people are going through those kind of scenarios, if you can emotionally relate to the art of it, the show will be successful.
Right.
So they do things like that to get you roped in and to make you feel a certain way because now you have to see how they overcome this adversity.
Right.
And you root for them and like it makes you emotionally involved in the artistic aspect of the TV show. And as long as that continues to happen with any type of storytelling, we will always be invested. The problem is because of where I am in my life, I can't watch those shows and enjoy it. I don't need to know what's happening at the end of whatever they're going through because what I'm seeing is what they're going through. And I know the tactics. I understand the psychology of what's going on right now. And this is a fucking problem. And it makes me not enjoy it because that ugliness is a problem. And the people who don't understand what's going on that relate to that character will mimic that behavior and then start destroying people. So, but that's a whole different discussion.
I know someone who does that, who takes on characters on TV shows because they don't know their own personality.
Yeah. It's wild. I'm going to pop up the super chats so that we're not behind on super chats. From today. This is today. Danish, I appreciate you, by the way. This is from 1 o'clock. Okay, this is today. Lewis, for $20, said, I am a farmer. I work 6 to 8, 100 plus hour weeks a year. I work 6 to 8, 100 hour weeks a year. There's no punctuation here because you guys have a limit. So let me translate. I work 6 to 8. I'm assuming every day.
Comma.
100 plus hour weeks every year. Going into my current relationship, I told her my goal is to create a life where she doesn't have to work. Is that what you want on the second date? Do you think that's too soon to be offering that kind of life to somebody?
I don't think so.
No?
If a man wants to have a wife who stays at home and is able to do whatever she wants, don't marry a business mogul. Like, I think that's important.
I get that.
Yeah.
But you don't think that would be put into a position to be taken advantage of? Let's instead of that question.
Okay.
So fuck that question. How do you deliver that question in a way that speaks on what you are wanting in the future?
I want to spoil the fuck out of my future wife so she doesn't have to work. She can do whatever she wants, and I want to support all of her hobbies because her happiness is my happiness.
You don't think that would get men taken advantage of?
Oh, you mean men getting taken advantage of?
Well, I mean,
I thought you meant like a woman hearing that and thinking she's going to get taken advantage of.
No, I think it would be the other way around. If we're on our second date and I hit you with that and you barely knew me and you saw a golden ticket to not have to work again and fucking be spoiled.
Well, that's where your gut feeling comes in. You need to get to know this person. You're not moving her in on a third date and having her quit her job.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's a good idea to lay out the expectations of what you want long term.
I do too.
And that if that means that they're dating for 2 years and living in separate places and she's working or whatever, just know in 10 years, if we get married and you're at home and you're miserable, I told you.
Yeah,
this
that's
is what I
true.
wanted.
That's true. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that putting that out on the line is amazing, and asking what they want is super important, like you said,
Right.
because if they want to be a stay-at-home mom and you're willing to be the husband that provides, that's a good start of a foundation to know that you guys are on the same page. It's an important conversation.
Right.
My question wasn't, do you not have the conversation? It was, how do you have the conversation in a way that the man doesn't get taken advantage of?
Oh, so like how does he have the conversation?
Yeah.
I don't think there's a way to have that conversation where you're not going to get taken advantage of. If someone wants to be shitty, they're going to be shitty. Your surveillance of them dictates whether or not that comes into fruition. So if I want to go shopping, give me $300. We've been dating for 2 weeks. Don't talk to me like that.
Right.
Well, you said on the second date you want a woman to take care of. No, I want a wife who's going to be a teammate. Long term. We're going to differentiate gold digging behavior and wife material.
Okay.
Okay.
I agree. I think that speaks on dating with intent. I think that's why the questionnaire that we created that's on our website, it's a free download for you guys who would like to download it. tobebetter.com, click on resources. Is a great tool to have. And from the studies that we've done, and by studies, I mean, we've had people take this paper out on fucking dates.
And then let us know how it went.
And then tell us how it went. I mean, that's real life fucking study, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is. I mean, that's how
human
you data
trials.
collect. Yeah.
But they fucking go out, and a lot of the time those dates end very abruptly because they're showing that they have very high expectations of what they want from a person. As somebody who is going on dates, I would rather have a date end abruptly and like that 30 minutes be wasted time instead of 3 months or 2 years. So having that questionnaire, I think, is an absolute gangster tool. Becky Marshall sent us $2 with no super chat text.
Okay.
Coco said, for $20, you are doing great. Love your authenticity. It's what drew me into you. I struggled with Control-Alt-Deleting thoughts growing up, and it's only due to the grace of God that I'm here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then praying hands.
Oh, thank you for saying that.
And that was your third super chat. So, Coco, thank you for sending the super chats. It means a lot.
Thank you for still being here.
Randy said, there's always blue inside the green peach. Every color is beautiful in its own way. Love you both.
Thank you.
Winter Road said, I get married on Friday. You have both given me the tools to be the best wife for my man. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Absolutely. Congratulations. I really have a hard time accepting those kind of statements.
Yeah, I get that.
I love that we were able to give you the knowledge that you didn't have, like the check-ins. Most people don't think to sit down and really have those conversations, or they're too intimidated by it, or they're afraid of the outcome of
Or
it.
they think it's stupid.
Right. Or they think it's stupid. But when you have those conversations, a lot can change. And learning how to communicate with your person is building a good future for you. But if you don't do the work, no matter what we say or do, it's not going to help your marriage. So when I read these, I have a hard time not to be like, we didn't do this. You did this. But I also realize, as you sat there a few minutes ago crying, that like we fucking do a lot. So there's a new awakening for me.
I'm going to need you to elaborate on that later.
Okay.
You don't have to do it now.
That's fine. Becky Marshall for $10. You two are absolutely amazing. I can't imagine how hard it must be to constantly be under the public eye. Excuse me. You guys are so inspiring and the work you do is amazing. I'm sorry people are so crappy. Me too. People suck. Sweet Swisher. You are awesome, Peach. BPD is a rollover. Is a rollover you ride on every day and not everyone understands. Stay strong. We support you.
Thank you.
Velo Dragon Gaming. Hey guys, I'm in the army and I've been away from home for a little over a year and her depression is getting worse. I just want to know what I can do to help her feel better and at least ease the pain. Have you asked her that? Because as men, we try to problem solve shit, right?
Right.
We're going to throw out everything that we think that we know that you're going to need to fix the problem instead of going, how can I serve you right now? Like, what do you actually need from me to make this better? That's a hard fucking lesson because it says a lot about our inability to serve, our inability to help, because we don't always know what you need. And unless you actually ask, what is it that I can do for you right now in the moment? You're going to give all of the wrong answers. They may not know. And being long distance means you can't hug them. So compression's not an option right now. You just need to vent. You need me to let you know that I love you and I'm coming home. Like,
I would Amazon her a really cute stuffed animal. And if you wear like a cologne, some type of man perfume, send that with the fucking stuffed animal so she can spray it.
scent's powerful.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. That's a good idea. I would have never thought to do that. See? Exactly.
That's what would make me feel better.
Yeah.
If you have to be gone for an extended period of time and I'm fucking going through it.
Doing small things like edible arrangements, chocolates, the teddy bear, just random things that pop up throughout the day to let them know that, hey, even though I'm 1,000 miles away, you're still on my mind. That shit matters.
I want you to send me one of your sweaty PT shirts. Something about your man must does it for me. It would make me feel better.
It's so gross.
Yep.
All I can think of right now with you saying that is what our gym clothes smelled like after being in our locker for a week in middle school.
Oh my God.
like high
No,
school.
that's disgusting.
Well, it'd have to ship to you. And if he's deployed overseas, like you're going to get a moldy
Would it really take that long?
Oh God, I don't know, but if it was more than a day or two.
Okay, so let's say a lightly worn one.
That's a lot. Michael said she knew the day I was leaving, but wanted to be married before I left. I was home 3 days. We talked Saturday, ring Sunday, married Monday. I was flown out Tuesday morning. We both have BPD, SPD, just as you two have.
Oh man.
This was the over-the-road trucker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh God, that complicates it a lot.
It does. It absolutely does.
I don't know what level of communication you guys are at yet. My husband can tell me, babe, this is your borderline, and I believe him. I also don't know the reasons for her packing up to leave.
Right.
Right? Like it could be 100% all emotional brain. She's self-destructing right now because this isn't what she thought it would be. She wasn't able to cope the way she thought she would be able to, whatever the plethora of reasons could be. So it could 100% be borderline self-destruction, or it could be legitimate concerns. And she's recognizing that this isn't the life for her.
Can I ask you a question that's not relevant to this?
Okay.
Have I ever told you this is your borderline and when you've come out of an episode been wrong?
No.
Okay. I just realized that could be gaslighting behavior. Somebody's going to be like, he's gaslighting her.
No, I've recognized that you telling me that's my borderline, I could, if I don't catch it, I could be easily manipulated with that because I have a hard time perceiving reality and a hard time differentiating my internal reality from the external reality. So if I wasn't at
this heightened level of existence is the only way I can think to put it, with my understanding of how my brain works and understanding of people's behaviors and the way that people will try to manipulate for gain and all of those things. I think that I have and plus I think that I am gifted with, I was thinking the word the whole time, especially while we were having the religious talk, and now it's blipping my mind. Discernment.
I knew where you were going.
Yeah. And I think that I am gifted with discernment, and I think that I have honed that pretty okay. Definitely can be better, but... So I have a pretty good direction of whether someone has true intentions or if they're trying to do something to get something out of me. And that getting something out of me could be an emotional reaction to feed their emotional vampirism. It could be money. It could be me getting upset and ruining my day, and now they feel better because they've ruined somebody's day. It could be a host of things. But after the first time you hit me with, babe, this is your borderline, I can say that because I have borderline and I have experience on you. If somebody had told me this 20 years ago, it's my borderline, my life would have been easier. And when I came out of it and I realized, holy shit, like him telling me that snapped me out of it faster.
Yeah.
And he was right. Why would I not trust your judgment on that?
Well, and I asked that for two reasons. One, I needed to know if I had ever been wrong.
If you were wrong, I would tell you.
Because if I was wrong, then there's more conversations about that, for instance, that need to be had. But I also know that because I have borderline, when I'm in an episode and you have borderline and you tell me it's my episode, I don't take it personal. Mm-hmm. Whereas anybody that doesn't understand what I'm going through, that's like, oh, it's just your mental illness. Fuck you.
Right.
It's a very,
I get that.
okay. It's a very different thing. So like
Yeah.
I just needed clarity because of this situation. Because if you're going through an episode, I don't have a problem being like, you're going through it right now. This is what's going on. I see it. I've been there. Because in the moment, that grounding is very difficult. Mm-hmm. It's very hard to just own your shit in the moment. And the not knowing the real thing, I've experienced that in my entire life. And it's always just been the difference of what you said versus what I've heard and me latching on to my episode.
Interpretation of it.
But I also understand now that it's visual too, because I will see things playing out, and that's not how things played out. I put my borderline.
Like a projection?
Yes. I assigned meaning to what was happening in the moment that wasn't actually happening. And that was actually on video. And when I watched, that was a whole thing. We've talked about that a lot. There's no reason to beat that dead horse, but you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do.
So. Rachel said, I love you both so much. Peach, I'm sorry you're having a bad day. You're such a beautiful person inside and out. Keep on keeping on.
Thank you.
Creighton Eater Gaming said, Crayon Eater Gaming, Creighton. I can read.
You can.
Crayon Eater Gaming. Good morning, guys. I just want to say thank you for everything you do. You two have helped me and my wife work through so much. I am a combat veteran, and you two have taught me how to be a better person for her and her kids. Our kids. Correction there, too. I can read, guys. I swear to God, I can fucking read. I was in my head reading that out loud, thinking that you should join the Voice of the Broken Discord. Send an email to Be Better Co. if you are a man, because it is a men's-only group. And ask for the link for the Voice of the Broken Discord, and we can hook you up with that. So in the event that you're having a bad day and need other men to talk to, we have that. Some of them are veterans, some are not, but you have a community. I think it's important.
I would love to do something like that for women.
Yeah.
Where like you have to send in an email and get... I don't trust that it won't turn into a massive bitch sesh.
It probably would.
And like...
We've had to monitor a lot of the Discord
I know.
from that.
I want to offer sanctuary, but I think that offering a sanctuary like that, it would get tainted very easily.
Yeah, it does. It takes a lot of moderation.
Yeah, and that's another...
You just got to figure out a way to make it work.
Yeah.
Egan Raskin said, my grace is sufficient for you, for power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9.
Thank you.
Joshua said, I want some advice if possible from you both. Me and my girlfriend haven't been together for very long, but we were super happy in the beginning, and now it seems like we argue every day, and I'm just wondering what we can do to understand each other better. Implement the check-ins.
We haven't been together for a long time?
Yep.
Yeah, so my husband was going to say implement the check-ins. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Nope. I'd go to tobebetter.com, click on resources, and download the check-ins guide. I would start there. But you're going to talk about rose-colored glasses, right?
That's a massive red flag to me.
Mm-hmm.
Massive red flag. If you guys haven't been together for too long, and when I hear like too long, we haven't been together too long, or we haven't been together for a long time, I'm imagining 3 to 6 months. That's the time frame I imagine when I hear not a long time. And in that period, if you guys are already fighting every day, this is not the relationship for you. Definitely try the check-ins, see if it helps.
Yep.
But that is one of the biggest red flags. And all of the time we've done this podcast and reading emails and people seeking advice, our updates from emails like that is our relationship ended.
Yep. And normally that is the case.
Yeah.
And here's a couple things that you guys all need to think about. One, not everybody is meant to be together.
Correct.
You are going to trial your way to marriage in every relationship that you're ever in until you get married, and then your marriage may fail. Every relationship you've ever been in up until the one that you're currently in has failed, which means you have a horrible track record. We all do.
Yeah.
And it's because we believe that because things are good and we're in love right now, that this is just meant to be. Nothing is meant to be. It is by design. If you want it to work, you will make it work.
Yep.
But that also speaks to maturity.
Right.
If we are growing and you somehow get 2-3 years of growth ahead of me with the mental aspect of things, and I'm still being a fucking child, I'm going to be screaming and yelling and flipping tables, and you're going to be like, I'm trying to have a conversation where we can find resolution. This is not it. I'm not willing to talk to you like that. I don't appreciate your behavior. I'm going to leave. And that's what that's going to look like. Right? So it's important to recognize that an immaturity absolutely sways a disagreement. We don't have to agree on things. We can have a difference of opinion. We can vehemently have two different stances on a topic and just go, I understand that's how you feel about it. This is how I feel about it. Because we can't have this conversation and not get elevated, we just won't have this conversation anymore. I understand your point. I respect it. You respect mine? Yeah, cool. I love you. And we go about our life.
Right.
But that takes a maturity. It's not an easy thing for a lot of people. I also don't think that it's being taught anymore.
No. I think within... So, gosh, I am really on a history kick. I know I've said that every time we've gone live, but I keep going further and further down the rabbit hole. I have always enjoyed history. I love learning from past humans' mistakes and learning about ancient civilizations and how normal people lived their lives. I watched a video of a woman who was 93 years old 100 years ago. One of the first videos ever taken in the 1900s. And she was a massive racist. Like, she was not a good lady. But the way that she spoke was very eloquent and it sounded poetic. There was an emphasis on how you sound matters, how you talk to people matters. And now I go out in public, I'm like, oh, that shit claps, cap.
Right.
What the fuck did that teenager just say? Why is that 30-year-old repeating it? What is happening, right?
Right.
Our language has gone down.
With it, our understanding.
A lot of great things, a lot of progressive things have happened in history. I want to say from my perspective of looking into history and like the massive changes with the brought on of like technology and our downtime, the more that we created to take over tasks in our daily lives, like washing our clothes, a dishwasher, slow cooker, like cooking has become easier, doing our laundry has become easier. Everything in the household has been done down to where we have more free time during the day. It might not feel like that, right? But if you have a job, you have the free time to have a job because you don't have to go to the brook and wash your clothes for 6 hours. And with the advancement of things that can help us do our daily tasks, combined with the festering boil that is the internet, we don't know what to do with our free time. So now we're spending it on the internet. And with us spending it on the internet, it's just an amalgamation of memes and emojis and some good things and some really shitty things. I want to say like from like the 50s to the 60s. No. Because electricity was a thing in the 1900s. Mm-hmm. Electricity was dope. I like watching that doctor high on cocaine doing surgery.
The Nick.
Yeah. That's a good show. And like electricity helped surgeons. I don't know. The last 100 years of human de-evolution is really frightening for me.
It's not been the last 100 years. It's been the last 40.
I want to say, I don't know. I think for women it started earlier. the easier things got at home, the more that they could focus their attention elsewhere. And I mean, like I said, really dope things came out of that, like women getting the right to vote.
Yeah.
Like we were able to focus our energy into good things, but we also
Pulling the
started
woman-
dabbling in gossip.
Pulling the woman out of the home to make her a worker so that she can pay taxes and the government can make
Yeah,
more money instead
government,
of being a
right.
mother and raising children and,
Right.
and having like the cohesive family units. Because the mother is the backbone of the family.
Right.
Pull her out of the home, everything else falls apart. So in that aspect, I agree.
Yeah.
But I think the decline in speech and things of that is because people speak meme now.
Right.
And the information that we get, well, I saw it on a meme on Facebook. I didn't read the article. I saw the headline. Well, the headlines grab your attention as clickbait.
Yeah.
And if you don't understand that and you go around repeating that and people believe you and they start repeating it because of what you said, you got a whole bunch of misinformation going around that nobody ever fact checks.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read that article. Reading's stupid. Speaking of reading,
Remember when we fought for the right to read? Like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Ethan said, "Hey guys, I love the content. The previous date I went on, I drove 2.5 hours to see her. She was on her phone the whole time and ghosted me after the date. Any advice on sniffing this out before?" I mean, I think this is a win, bro. I mean, it sucks that you drove 2.5 hours, but you got out on the first date, not, after the fact of months of dating. But with that being said, maybe FaceTime people instead of just doing things textually.
I would stalk the fuck out of their social medias. If she's posting 8 selfies a day on her Instagram, I would assume that's how she behaves on the date. If she is chronically vague posting on Facebook multiple times a day for attention seeking, I would assume that she's going to behave like that on the date.
Do you think that it would be wrong to ask people, like, what are your expectations of a date?
No.
I wouldn't either. Like, I would be like, hey, I'm driving 2.5 hours to see you. Like, what is the perfect date for you? I'd like to make it special. It's a long fucking drive.
Right. It is.
And if you were like, I would like to go to a garden and look at flowers, and the whole time you were on your phone, I would know right away that you're somebody that is digitally connected and you can't let go of that addiction.
digital leash, yeah.
I don't want that. But I would also ask, like, how attached to your phone are you? But you can also see that by the way people respond to you. That was another thing that came up that somebody asked that I screenshotted that. Let's get through these because I know you got to leave in a little bit.
Okay.
Bree said, both of you are knowledge brokers, definitely teaching us how to be better in many areas.
Certainly trying.
Amanda Ford said, those who need the message will be back. I did. Now my son listens sometimes, and he thanks the pod for my change in our relationship. We 100% need community, and that's what I crave. I love you guys. You need to get in our Discord, Amanda, if you're not there already. That's crazy that your relationship with your son has gotten better.
I love that. I love that.
Avalia?
Avalia?
We'll go with that one. It sounds way cooler. You guys are helping me grow as a young adult and coming from a very toxic relationship. You have shown me how to stand up for myself and making sure I'm valued as a human in my relationship. I love how authentic and blunt you are with your feelings. Thank you for showing me my feelings are valid and giving me advice on how to be the best version of myself. I love that your
ma'am.
self-worth has improved. That's fucking awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
Jordan, looking for advice. My husband just started a business. I'm pregnant. My husband wants me to stay home and help assist with the online business needs. I'm so happy with helping with our business, but I want us to have a better living arrangement. For our baby, should I get a part-time job and then assist with our business after work to help save money, or should I honor what my husband wants? I'm going to be biased and say that you should honor what your husband wants because you're building a business, and a business is going to make you a whole lot more money long-term if done properly than a part-time job. If you have to work one way or the other, serve your husband, not a boss.
Yeah. My perspective on that is you guys now have a baby. You going to work is going to prolong the long-term goal.
Absolutely.
Your mental health is going to go to shit. You're going to be exhausted. You're helping with a side business, having a job, being a full-time mom to a newborn or an infant or however old the baby is. From my past experience, I would recommend this is one of those times where you gotta trudge through the mud to get to the beach.
Yep. You suffer now so you don't have to later.
Yeah.
That's it.
And if your suffering is not that bad, like if you guys can't DoorDash right now,
fantastic. It is
Yeah.
okay. I get that it's stressful and it's tiring and you want to get to the end goal faster. This is where patience comes in.
Yeah. Babe, we can't DoorDash tonight, but that's good because it would have taken 45 minutes. Ramen takes 3.5 in the microwave.
Right. Some PB&Js.
You want some ramen? I'll make you some ramen. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Our daughter is one of the most impatient people I know. And the other day at school, she was like, all right, open the door. And I was like, no, vehicle's moving. When we pull up, I'll open the door and then you can hop out. And she was like, oh, patience. She's like, all the time, just patience, patience, patience. And I was like, yeah, baby, and it's never going to end.
That's funny. Teresa said, you have helped me in realizing I need to use more on my reaction than his delivery. That's awesome. Hollow Shinigami 15. Hey guys, I'm 26, disabled, and going through a really bad breakup with someone I wanted forever with. I don't have enough space to go into everything, but is there any way I can talk to you guys personally? I really need help. No, right now there's not. You can send an email. You can join one of our Discord groups if you're wanting to join a group of other people that we're involved in. You can do that through our Patreon, but right now coaching calls just got put on hold this morning. So they're coming. They're just not here yet. Mm-hmm. So now that we're caught up on super chats, I believe.
Pardon me.
Is that the one we just read? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we are all caught up on supers.
I'm going to crinkle for a little bit.
Word. I want to look at that, see if I actually saved that screenshot because... Okay, I did. This came from Instagram. And it said... Can you tackle this thing going on online? People are stating that you should always text back in like 5 minutes.
Oh, fuck that.
Because we always have our phones on us. If you don't text back within a few hours, that person is not a priority for you. Am I crazy to think that that's nuts? I literally turn off my phone on weekends. I enjoy my personal time. I just feel like technology is taking over so much of our lives.
I don't play that game with just because you have my phone number means you have unlimited access to me.
It's not a leash. It's a phone.
Not playing this game. If you don't hear back from me for 3 days, you don't hear back from me for 3 days. If our relationship is not valuable for enough in the moments that we can have a conversation or a text, then I get it. I am not going to put everything on my life on hold just to have anxiety because, oh my God, they texted me. Now, if I don't hear from my husband for 8 hours, that's a problem for me. But I understand my husband gets busy with things. I will receive a text message of, hey, I'm slammed today. Just know I'm thinking about you. Love that ass. Kissy face.
Well, that said a few hours. A few is 3 to 5.
Yeah.
I've gone 3 to 5 hours without sending you text messages. You are the most important living thing on the planet to me. Mm-hmm. Like top priority.
Right.
But in the moment, if I'm in a meeting has my attention right now. If I'm
Right.
doing something with Jordan or I'm riding dirt bikes and I'm living my life right now, the thing that I'm doing has my undivided attention. You're going to have to wait until I have a moment to sit down and give you my undivided attention.
Right.
Would you rather me half pay attention to what we're talking about while doing other things or actually give you my attention? And let me show you what that looks like in a visual.
Okay.
Ask me a question.
What's the square root of 24?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Square root of 24?
Oh, yeah, that's great, babe.
It's for our taxes.
That's fuck taxes. That's theft. See how that looks? So now you have a visual representation of what that looks like. Wouldn't you rather have me sit down and engage with you in an area in time where I'm able to truly engage with you versus that? Not to mention, you're getting that while I'm doing this, and the person on the other end is getting the exact same thing because I'm
Right.
halfway engaging with you.
Right. Yeah, I don't do that. I am worthy of your whole undivided attention, and I will wait for that. And if you never make time for that, then I understand my place in your life.
Right. 3 to 5 hours is not that long.
No.
Tell me you have attachment issues without telling me you have attachment issues.
Yeah, that sounds like a very insecure attachment.
It's becoming normalized.
Very needy, very clingy, very... That's becoming normalized?
Apparently it is
Bro,
because he just
fuck
said
that.
He just said that's a thing going around online.
Y'all remember that meme where the guy had pieced out and he just faded away and disappeared? I would never venture into society again.
If everybody had that mindset, I would smash my phone. You can fax me.
Write me a letter, bitch.
Yeah.
Put it in the mail.
Send a carrier pigeon.
I like birds better than people anyways.
Yeah. Unreal. That's what I'm talking about in the de-evolution of humans.
I agree.
We don't know how to have relationships. We don't know how to be in society anymore. We don't understand healthy expectations of the boundaries of a relationship. There was a time where we would write a letter and it would take 3 months to get to somebody. And then it would take 3 months for it to get it back.
And that's if they wrote it the next day.
Oh my God, I don't have to hear from you for 6 months. I love the updates when I get them because if I'm having a really bad day, then I can just read the letter.
Yeah.
I'm so glad this came today. I fucking need it. And then it's excitement. 40 unread messages in a 2-hour span of you're ignoring me. I can't believe you're doing this. You don't love me. Fuck you. I'm not even responding to you. I'm just going to block you.
Yeah, same.
And if you don't understand that that's a problem, I pray growth for you.
Those same people that require that type of response are the same people who will get mad when somebody blows their phone up and they're expected to behave the same way. That's toxic behavior. You don't have to, like, if somebody farts and you suffocate, that's a problem. You're a little too far up their ass.
Right.
You need oxygen, not methane. Like, back the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah. If I'm sipping on a strawberry milkshake and you can already taste it,
Too much.
too much.
I just had a conversation with someone on TikTok about nobody owes you constant communication, especially in early dating phases. Nobody owes you anything, let alone constant communication. It should be a want. This is the difference between I need you and I want you.
Right.
And we've had that conversation a lot too. And people get mad when you tell somebody you don't need them. I don't fucking need you.
I need water. I need food
And oxygen.
and oxygen and exercise.
The rest of that shit will fall into place.
Yeah.
I want you here.
I would rather be wanted than needed. If you need me, then it's an obligation. I'll eat anything when I'm fucking starving.
That's
like,
right. That's right.
Play that game.
Super chat from Tiana. Our son was diagnosed with cancer in December and it's been hard, but we make it work. Spending weekends together. Unsure we will take our son home, but still making the relationship work. Make the effort. That's it. You got to make the effort.
Oh, I'm so sorry for your son.
I can't read that one because of the camera's blocking
It
it.
says, thank you and congrats on 200K. Appreciate all the advice you two give. You helped me and my fiance grow so much. Hope to send an email soon. And that's from Carol.
Okay.
We look forward to your email.
Carl said, did you get my comment? I'm sure it came through, but unless it was a super chat, we didn't see it because we're engaged.
Right.
The screen is a secondary byproduct. We look over and pick a random one and talk about it. What is the information to get into the men's group? Thank you. So we have multiple groups through our Discord. If you go to patreon.com/tobebetter, do not do it on an Apple device. Use a browser, sign up on a computer or an Android device. Did you see what Patreon's doing?
No.
They're charging 30% to iPhone users to sign up using Apple Pay through Patreon. So fuck Apple and that whole bullshit. So use a browser, go to google.com or whatever and search Patreon if you need to. Patreon.com/tobebetter. And there's tiers there. There's a women's group and a men's group. Those are private groups. They are much smaller
Very more intimate and
Right.
close-knit.
that we have quarterly goals and live calls in that is 10 to 15 people. I think the most we've ever had in there is 30. And then we also have a public group that's part of our Patreon as well that's in Discord that you can get on the $15 tier. So that's how you get to that.
Yeah.
That iPhone thing, Apple is doing that. And it's not going to affect people who previously signed up. But if you use the iPhone, the Patreon app to subscribe, they'll charge you. Facebook is doing the same thing. If you try to use your Apple device to run a boosted post on a business page on Facebook, they won't let you put a credit card in. You have to use Apple Pay. And if you don't have it linked to Apple Pay, there's no way to get to a credit card.
Nah.
So I have to post from my phone to Facebook to show off the tattoos and then go to a computer to boost the post using the business credit card that's saved on Facebook. I can't even get to the credit card option.
You know what that sounds like to me?
Control.
It's $25 to enter this building.
Yeah.
You can't go grocery shopping until you pay that fee. To use this restroom, it's $5. To leave your house, it's $100.
Yeah. It's tyranny.
I am fucking good. Oh my God. Janae shouted at something. Can you scroll up?
She was the one who's
Oh, okay.
30% fee to use the iOS app to sign up. Yep. How much does it cost in general? We have multiple tiers.
We do have multiple tiers. We have a lot going on Patreon.
If you would like to have access to the public Discord through our Patreon, it's the $15 tier. If you want the private groups, the private men and women's group is $100 a month. But again, that's not just a group.
I thought it was $115.
You're right. I upped it.
Okay.
We did do that. It's $115. That's because of the quarterly T-shirt.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into the groups.
Yeah. You guys have to go to Patreon and read through that. And if you have questions any further, send an email to zach@tobebetter.com. Can we talk about how to deal with grief in the marriage? Lost my dad 13 days apart. I lost my and dad. I don't know what the other thing that you lost was.
Right.
I am struggling, and so is our 22 years of marriage because of it. Grief is a nasty thing. You guys should go to therapy. If only we had an infographic for Patreon. We do. I think I deleted it yesterday. I was like, what is this? And I was like, where did that come from? I'm sorry, Zach. I hope you got that still, because then you can just email it to people. Let's wrap up. Let's hit the times of the schedules again, because I know you got to go pick the kids up.
Okay.
2 o'clock. So everyone, just so you're aware, because somebody else just asked about the schedules for when we go live. Monday will be the premiere, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. At noon, every Monday, we go live on Patreon to read the emails, because we do our podcast live for Patreon. Tuesday will be a clip on YouTube of the email from the Monday's episode. Wednesday will be a live stream at noon. Thursday will be another clip, and Friday will be conversation pieces. We have nothing coming out over the weekends, no more live streams on the weekends. Currently, our only live dedicated is Wednesday for the public. Patreon gets a live on Monday, and whenever we record our Friday episode, if we decide to go live that day, it's a pop-up.
And my garden episodes.
When you decide to do those as well. So that's our live stream. Wednesdays at noon Eastern Standard Time, we'll be going live. I think that's everything.
All right.
Guys, we didn't expect to go for 2 hours, and we still have quite a few of you watching. So thank you guys for doing what you do. If you guys are watching on Facebook, go hit YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. We're trying to hit 250,000 by the end of the year. And if you guys are interested in the groups, Patreon's where it's at. Most of the people that are commenting in the chat on Discord, on YouTube, and some of the mods on Facebook are fucking part of our Discord community. It's huge. It's over 1,000 people in there. And
I think we're almost to 1,500.
I haven't checked in a while,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of fucking people in there, and they're all good people. So
Yeah.
we'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye, guys.